Hi, Jahan. My name's Jenny Radloff, and I work with the Association for Progressive Communication in the Women's Networking Support Program. Our approach to capacity building is, I think, quite unique. I mean, as you see from the digital storytelling workshop, we try and integrate technology with women's activism, and we found digital storytelling to be one of the most powerful ways of doing that. What we also want to achieve here, and what we're doing in a lot of our work, in a lot of our projects, is to look at what the intersections are between ICTs and violence against women. And they are complicated, multifaceted, and different in different contexts as well. So that is primarily what we're trying to do, and at the same time create advocacy around those issues and take those issues to a policy level, so policymakers know what the issues are and to try and make some kind of intervention at a legislative level. So say, for example, in Africa, where I live in South Africa, issues of using mobile phones and how that has been appropriated by abusers to abuse women, from things like controlling the cell phone, taking out their SIM cards, looking at their call register to see who they've called, and if they've called numbers that they don't know, there's been a lot of violence involved, the men have beaten the women. Recently in South Africa, there's been men who grab women for gang rape and video that and then send that around to people. So it's horrible abuses. So really what we want to do is to make women, and obviously some men who want to know about this and who are on our side, how do you make your cell phone safe? How do you own your cell phone and use it in a way that is empowering rather than disempowering? So other work that we've been doing is in a project called Genadis, Gender and Agriculture in Rural Areas and ICTs. Been fascinating findings about how in rural communities the cell phone, which has become more ubiquitous, is being used for things like accessing market prices. So if you're, say, farming with coffee, you need to know what the current market price is. If you don't know, the middleman takes the profit of between what you produce and what you sell. So that's been very empowering, particularly for women farmers who often don't have access to information or who are illiterate. And also just the kind of human social aspect, which is really interesting, is that in some of these projects women have learned how to use the mobile phone, but then realize they need literacy in order to send SMSs, which is the cheapest form. So then they are then clubbing together, saving money and learning how to read and write, which is quite fascinating. So what we also want to pursue now in the women's program, and we're hoping to team up with other organizations, is to look at secure online communications and look at digital security from a feminist perspective. So that's what we're hoping to do more of.
Okay.
Because there's a huge need for women's human rights defenders to use the internet securely and safely.
What has your experience been of, or your evaluation of the workshop here in Pakistan then? Because this is our very first feminist tech exchange. What did you think of the quality of participation? What were the challenges you feel that we should look at next time?
It has been one of the most incredible workshops I've been at. It really has. I think there's been a level of commitment, participation, we keep saying perfection, and trust that is remarkable. The woman and the one man who participated were very brave in their sharing of stories. I think because, coming from another cultural milieu and not really understanding what the reality is on the ground in Pakistan, I now have a better understanding, not only from the stories that were shared, but also from the interaction socially with the participants. And I think what I've also valued is that we've gone beyond just the training. There's been a lot of facilitation of dinners, of social activities, which I think is really important in building a successful workshop, because it's not just about the content and the training. It's about a human interaction, about learning about our different realities. So it's been powerful. I think the participants know technology. I mean, most of them, it's just, we can't really teach them much. And there's also a lot of confidence that I think comes from commitment and determination. It's been a very meaningful experience. I don't know what you could do. I mean, people are so committed to the work that they're doing. So, I mean, I guess it's we'll see when you run your next digital storytelling training, when the participants run it. I really have been blown away by it. It's been a privilege.
This is your first trip to Pakistan, and I bet you were nervous when you thought of coming here. What has the experience generally been? Although you haven't been out that much, but every evening we've gone out. Has it changed your perception a bit? Do you feel more comfortable coming back?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. I blogged a little bit about it because, you know, coming from South Africa where we lived under apartheid for years, which was perhaps the most disgusting system ever devised, we also went through a terrible period of random bombings and security police everywhere, states of emergency, people forcibly recruited into the army. So I've kind of known that reality. My knowledge of Pakistan was very limited before I came here. So a lot of friends and my mother said, you know, do you think you should go? And all these bombings, and they target foreigners, and you know. I only kind of got a bit nervous when I landed at the airport, when I saw there seemed to be a kind of segregation, men and women, and there were a lot of people with guns. And then coming to the hotel, there was a man with a gun on the roof. But talking to people and going out and really learning about the reality is very different. And also what I find so fascinating is that every person I've spoken to has been so warm, so eager to talk, to share experiences, that a country that has people like that cannot be a country that can live in constant fear. There has to be something that will shift and possibilities that are enormous. What I really appreciated was going to the Cultural Museum.
Right.
Because then I've got an understanding because you can't understand people without knowing the context and the history and the culture and the art,
right.
Which is, it's incredible, really, you know, attention to detail, beautiful. So that's given me a greater understanding. So now, I mean, of course I want to come back.
Great.
It's been,
Thank you very much.
Thanks.